Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to my channel. We are doing my reading journal for October. And sorry about the lighting. One of my kitchen lights is actually flickering like a haunted ghost light. So sorry about it because it was too dark to not have it on because I was doing this in the wee hours of the morning. So sorry. I'm using some of my coffee dyed paper and a drawing because I was trying to actually recreate book covers for this one. So, ooh, girl, my dog is drinking water. Hold on 1 minute. All right, she's done because that would have been epic, and she drinks like a gallon of water at a time. Anyway, so I'm using some coffee dyed paper, and I wanted to recreate the book covers of all my favorite books this month. So I think I'm going to have, yep, there it is. There it is. I still took a lot of creative license, but that's like for every book I did, I definitely wanted to have some element of the cover present because I don't have a printer, and in a perfect world, I would just print the book covers and then collage around that. But I don't have a printer. So this is what we had to do. And I just didn't have time to draw because if I like sat down, I could probably copy the cover like exactly, but ain't nobody got time for that. So I participated in a readathon hosted by the Locked Booktician, and it's all about crime fiction written by Black authors. And so crime fiction can mean murder mysteries, horror, anything, haunted things, suspense, thrillers, all of that. Because there's like the main genre and then all the little subgenres. And I am not a huge crime fiction fan, but I love horror. And funny thing, when I first started reading, that's all I used to read was like murder mysteries by like Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown, the cat, and all these Eve Duncan, the forensic face sculptor or whatever. Like, but I have since graduated, and all I read now is like romance and fantasy, and I do like horror, but that's a recent development. So a lot of my books this month were kind of meh because crime fiction, like like your standard like murder mystery or thriller, domestic thriller, like Gone Girl and all these things, like they are so predictable to me that it's just not enjoyable to read because I figure out who done it like in the first like third of the book, and then it's just annoying and I don't want to read it anymore. You gotta do a lot to shock me, okay? I watch too many like crime shows. But so anyway, this is The Taking of Jake Livingston, which I did not talk about at all. So that's great. It was a book about a queer teenage boy who happens to be a medium. He sees ghosts and stuff, and then there is a ghost that is trying to like take over his body. It was great. 5 out of 5 stars. So good. So good. And this one is called The Shadow Sister. And like I said, I'm trying to recreate the covers, but like my way with like junk journaling and drawing and mixed media, because that's my bag. That's my bag. So this one was about a girl, yeah, because they're teenagers. So a girl whose sister, like they had a really bad relationship. And I read a lot of books about families this month, which is probably a reflection of my mental state, and I'll tell you why in a bit. But let's get back to the synopsis. So yeah, it's about a girl whose sister like disappears, and they're trying to look for her, and she didn't like her sister, but it was like, okay, I fight with my sister, but I still love her, and I think the opening line was, "My sister's a B word, but that doesn't mean I wanted her to die," or something like that. Because she's just assuming that her sister is dead because she's been gone for a while. And so it's just about her kind of coming to terms with how she felt about her sister. It's like, yeah, we were fighting, and now I'll never get the chance to make it up to her or make up with her. But then she comes back like after a week or two, but she's like, not her. She has amnesia. She's like a pod person. She has no memories except of her sister. So then her sister's trying to figure out, okay, like what happened to her? Because at first she thinks she's faking her amnesia just for attention because that, she thinks that she's horrible. You get multiple POVs. So you do get to see like, and it has like bits and pieces of what happened. It's not really so much a whodunit because the main character trying to figure stuff out is like 15, and she can't really be traipsing around like pretending to be an amateur sleuth, so she does her best, but it's really mostly about the family relationship, which I like. And so at first I thought it was like a suspense thriller, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of like lame. But then you get a lot of like family history, and you figure out that her grandma was into like voodoo and stuff, and there's a family, protection magic, and it's root magic. It's really, really, really good. It made me call my sister because my sister and I, it's kind of that thing. Like, yes, you're my sister. I would die for you, but like, I don't like you sometimes. And it made me call her and be like, hey, like, I know we don't talk that much because we're both adults and we got kids, and but I still love you. But this one was also a 5-star, and I really need to like stop gluing on like what my actual paper, because yeah, I need to have like a glue mat or something. So I went with like lots of blue flowers because that's what the cover had. Lots of butterflies. There's lots of butterfly imagery. There are lots of like jumpy moments that aren't your typical jump scares, which was really nice. And there was just a lot of, hey, this is what it's like when Black girls go missing. Because it's a problem. Oh, this book, The Good House. Oh, let me tell you, I might have actually like found a new like favorite author. Her name is Tananarive, and she does a lot of these kind of horror, spooky kind of books. And this one was about a haunted house and all the reasons why it's haunted. And there is a lot of the same things, because I tried to choose books that were unapologetic in their Blackness. Because if I'm going to do Blackoween, it's going to be Black, like Blackly Black. So that's what I did. Because I always struggle with my identity as a Black person, because I'm not Black. I'm biracial. My mom is white and my dad is Black. And so I always kind of struggle with my identity anyway. So I wanted to make sure that I was reading books that had a lot of culture and a lot of, roots and family connections and history, so this is about a house and the things that go on, because it's about the land, right? So the land has a lot of entities on it, and back in the day, the main character's grandma did some stuff like rituals with ancient gods and spirits, and you know, stuff happened, man. There was possessions, demons, ghosts, and then like a lot of people connected to the house end up dying, and she's like trying to figure out why. It's great. I do think it was too long. It was like 400 some pages. But you really get deep down into the history of this family and their magic system and why they are the way they are. And this is so good. Like, the writing is amazing. The descriptions are amazing. And I just loved it to bits. So this book, Like a Sister, it's not my usual pick. So this is another book about siblings who have like a falling out, and then one of them dies, and everybody thinks it's a suicide. And her sister's like, nah, she would never have done that. And so it's all about her like trying to figure out what really happened to her sister, because it's, a Black girl who looked like an overdose in a poor neighborhood, and they just make all the assumptions in the world and just assume that, oh, okay, she's poor, she's Black, she was doing drugs, she's in a bad neighborhood, so must have been an overdose. And her sister's like, nah. And so she like figures out, or tries to figure out who did it and why. And she's just kind of following all the clues. And her sister was an influencer. So she has to like go through her phone because her sister like videotaped every single moment of her life almost. And she's just following all these clues, and it really, really interesting. So I found a magazine and that had like lots of fashion and stuff, and what I think influencers would have. So it's just like lots of like luxury brands and jewelry and avocado toast and fashion. And I found a picture that had like that pink background of the cover, and then I did find like a pair of sunglasses that I just like put on her face. But yeah, this is just another one about like sister relationships, family secrets. It's definitely more in the domestic thriller side versus like horror or magic or anything, which is usually what I lean towards. But the good thing about this book was like I kept, okay, yeah, this person is the one that did it, and then it kept twisting on me. Like, oh no. Oh, like all the red herrings were great. Like I did not figure out who did it until like the last like third of the book, which is what you want. I want to be guessing. I want to think I have it all figured out. And then it keeps me on my toes. Like that's what I like. And they are, especially nowadays, because there's a formula for mysteries and stuff like that, but it's hard to get there to that place where, leaves me guessing. And then I did something crazy because there's a part in the book where there's a picture of the girl's sister, and her ex-boyfriend had like covered it in red paint, like it was blood. So that's what I wanted to do because, a lot of Instagrammers and influencers are just so all about like being perfect and pretty. And I wanted to make sure that I knew that this book was about murder. Oh, sorry. This got a little weird. I'm sorry. Yes, but I'm trying to put red ink on here because, it's October. I read a lot of horror books. I read a lot of crime books. I read a lot of books about serial killers. It's fine. I was definitely in my spooky season vibes. Okay. But like I said, I only read about 10 books because I wanted to actually pay attention. A lot of times when I'm reading, I'm just reading to like escape, but I'm not really digesting it or processing it. So I didn't read as much because a lot of these books were chunkers. They were like 400 pages, and I actually wanted to process it. I'm going to journal about my feelings off camera because I just feel like it's boring. But this is like the final flip through. I hope this voiceover wasn't too crazy for y'all. And I hope you liked me kind of trying to recreate the book covers. I also have like just November. It's Native American Heritage Month, so I'm going to be reading Native American books. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.